All right, Keith, the big news obviously with Man City is how they're going to replace their big man, Kevin De Bruyne, this summer. Are they really reportedly prepared to pay 150 million euros for Florian Wirtz with a 25 million euro salary? That seems like an incredible change in the wage structure and transfer policy of City over the last year or two.
Yeah, I think it does signal a change, certainly in that. But I think they've come to the realization that they're probably going to have to make a statement signing. They've got to shake things up a little bit because this season has been very well below the standards they've set in the past. And it does seem that there's a lot of interest in Wirtz right now. I mean, Real Madrid and all the other top clubs have been linked. And so it may well be that those that will have to pay the price. And I think at this sort of price, City are probably the only ones that can actually go there right now. I don't think even Real Madrid can go to this sort of level. So to win the race, they may have to do it. I say that with a caveat, of course, is that young talent like this may not be swayed by completely the top level money. Because when you're at that level, you're getting a lot of money anyway from whatever choice you make. So it may not just be a marginal amount that's going to make the difference. But nevertheless, he's got to believe as a young player coming to Pep Guardiola will be a very strong appeal. But yes, I think City have realised if they're going to make clear water between themselves and the other clubs, it's going to have to be a big number.
And what is the likelihood of Javi Alonso probably leaving Bayer Leverkusen do for the likes of Florian Wirtz? Does it seem like that will, signal to him to leave Bayer Leverkusen as well this summer, making it an easier deal for Man City?
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's going to be one of the biggest factors. And I think we're all pretty much believing that the Alonso to Real Madrid deal is done. He's certainly been clever in the way he's taken his time to do it. But I think it will be done. I think he's a great fit for Real Madrid. I've got a lot of respect for Javi Alonso and the way that he's handled his managerial career. Also, just his whole temperament and the way he is as a person. He's a very class act. And I think certainly for the players, at Leverkusen, they'll be thinking, it's the changing of the guard. Maybe it is time to move. So I think a lot of things are conspiring. But where the young player is going to make his move, it's by no means certain, as I say. But he's a talent, and he would be a statement signing. So let's just see.
And we all believed that AC Milan were going to keep Kyle Walker long term after this loan spell during the end of this year. But they're believed to be having second thoughts after his most recent injury. Is this a big blow for Manchester City, considering the wages that Kyle Walker is on, and maybe it might be hard to get him off the books this coming summer?
Yeah, I think it would be difficult for City to take him back, and as you say, the wages are pretty high. But I don't necessarily think it's a done deal. I tend to think he will be staying down there at AC Milan. I think Zlatan, who's now a consultant with the club, is actually the one that's driving these sort of player decisions, and I think he would like to see Kyle Walker stay. It was only, as I understand it, an elbow injury that's kept him sidelined. So it's not really a major, like a cruciate or a knee injury or a leg injury. So I think he could return to full fitness. He does look after himself very well. He's still got great pace. And I think they could see another season out of Kyle Walker. So I think it may well be that there'll be some situation done where he'll end up staying at AC Milan.
And we've spoken a lot about the ticket issues with Manchester City and their fans. The most recently, City have received backlash after increasing the number of games that season ticket holders must utilize their ticket from 14 to 16. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, we've seen them successfully protest and then the freezing of the prices. And now this is one way to stop the fans selling, or transferring their tickets from, as you say, from 14 games to 16 games they've now got to be there for. It's something I hadn't seen before, and when I thought about it and looked into it, it made me think that maybe City are just trying to consolidate the revenue coming from the season ticket fans, and also at the same time force some way to try and get more of the tourist fans in there as well in some way. It's a weird situation, and I don't see how 2 games makes a big difference to the season ticket holder who's already paid the money. Look, we know that the City fans, I mean, it's been nicknamed the empty had for years because the attendances haven't been so big. it's a frustrating situation, and the fan relationship with City is not great at the moment, and it's another sort of interesting twist, and it's starting to show a bit more of a schism that's developing between the ownership and the fan base. And these are little things that are tinkering around the edges that don't make a lot of sense to me. And often, there's a PR value to keeping the fan base on side. And I just don't see the benefit here, really, for this sort of trouble. I am watching a lot of things happening at City right now, and I'm sensing a slight change in the atmosphere. So we'll see how it develops.
And on the Club World Cup side of things, FIFA has failed to secure tax exemptions with United States authorities for those clubs competing in the competition. How much could that actually cost Man City and Chelsea this coming summer?
Yeah, look, this was actually quite a big story when I got into it, and it's not just the actual situation regarding the taxes, which I'll go into in a second, but I had experience of working with FIFA on trying to stage one of their world competitions. When I was in the Middle East, I was the chief football consultant to a country down there, and we were going to hold the World Beach Soccer Championship, which was FIFA controlled. And part of the whole negotiation and agreement was the tax status, and that you basically had to be, the situation was tax exempt. Now, the World Cup in the States is already negotiated to be tax exempt, and that's going to carry on. And what I understand is that this Club World Cup happened so quickly, the deal happened so quickly, that there wasn't time to negotiate the different tax exempt statuses. Now, this extends right the way through to each individual state. So there could be state taxes as well as federal taxes, and then there could be taxes back in the home country for the clubs, being there. So the headline story of the billion-dollar pot of prize money for the Club World Cup, which has been the thing that's been really the most attractive story that FIFA have gone on, is starting to disappear. Because I think you could be looking at something like 30% to 40%, depending on double taxation treaties, which are very detailed, very complex. It could be a big hit for those clubs. Now, obviously, it'll still be worthwhile, but nowhere near as lucrative as some of them might have been thinking. What I do believe in, we've seen some, shall I put it kindly, some volatility from your president, Mr. Trump, recently. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a executive order signed with a flush of his pen saying that the Club World Cup will be tax exempt. So I wouldn't put that past him, and I'm sure that Infantino is in there lobbying. He was there at the inauguration. He's obviously, and we've had the Club World Cup trophy in the White House in the Oval Office. It's been very prominent in a couple of things recently. So maybe there'll be something done in behind the scenes. But if it was to stand and the tax was paid, which may be another strand for President Trump to look at, he may welcome the chance to actually get some more tax revenue in. It's hard to see which way it's going to go, but certainly it would take the shine and the luster off the Club World Cup in terms of being a big attraction for the bigger clubs.
And Manchester City has again proved to be the most effective European club in securing digital engagement with Asian football fans. Are you surprised by this? It feels like one where Tottenham have spent a lot of their time and efforts as well.
No, I think the City guys, and when I looked into this in a bit more detail as well, I mean, there's a platform in China right now called Douyin. It's owned by the same people as TikTok, ByteDance. And that is becoming an incredibly popular platform. I haven't been able to access it and understand the differences, but it is becoming the key one. Now, with all these platforms, as we know in social media, they tend to have a really, if they take off, they have a really big importance for a period of time. And this one seems to be the one. Now, if City have got the right people involved, and I'm sure they have, because they've been very hot on the data side as well as the social media side, and they've got the right experts and analysts, not only in China, but throughout the rest of Asia, then they'll have been able to capitalize on these trends. But you've got to be able to understand each of these platforms in detail, how they work, what are the hot buttons, and I think City have been quick to operate on that and therefore have earned the reward. And from what I understand, while doing all the other platforms very well, it's going to be the content that they actually manufacture and really create something special. And City have been very good at that recently. So it's an area that I've been mentioning for weeks now, that clubs have got to be better at monetizing the international fan. And this is going to be a real science as we go forward with the new technologies. There's going to be more new technology platforms coming out. And City have shown that, if you are hot and you're really on top of it all, you can reap the rewards. And so this is a lesson for all the clubs of where they should be investing some skills and getting some young, really talented kids involved to operate these things for them.